What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Lesser Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like, was an interesting video for you here on the channel. Today is Seth Rollins is out for a while. When would he cash in? Now, there has been not rumors, but more like Paul Heyman just saying he's out for an extended period of time coming out for Seth Rollins. He still has the Money in the Bank briefcase. Today, we're going to be fully just talking about when I think he will cash in. Some scenarios. Not really when I think he'll cash in, more like we'll just talk about where I think he could cash in on and what makes the most sense now, thinking about an injury angle and all this other stuff. So, yeah, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to go through some scenarios and see what happens. So I am recording this before SummerSlam. I'm recording this right after NXT, but it is coming out the day of SummerSlam. I still want to mention SummerSlam. I don't think he'll cash in unless CM Punk does win. Then I could see a way he could. But let's talk about it. I think it'll be the Gunther versus CM Punk match, which comes out today. Punk wins the title. Seth will do anything to not let Punk get the title. And that's just a true case scenario where I think if Punk would win, kind of be hypocritical of Seth Rollins to not cash in. But, I mean, of course I get it because he's fully just injured. But at the same time, I get it. He's injured. He's injured at the end of the day. So I think if he wins, if CM Punk wins, I could see a scenario where, and I've said this in previous videos, where I could see Breaker, everyone's celebrating Punk's winning. Breaker all of a sudden just spears CM Punk. Everyone's like, whoa, what's happening? Breaker out of nowhere spears CM Punk. Then we have Bronson Reed come in. He starts hitting the crazy tsunami. He starts tsunamiing him one by one. And then all of a sudden, we hear burn it down. And it's either Seth Rollins, on crutches walking there. It's either Paul Heyman carrying him. Paul Heyman carrying him in a wheelchair, even. That would be insane. Paul Heyman in a wheelchair with Seth Rollins in there with the Money in the Bank briefcase wheeling him all the way down. He comes out of the wheelchair. He jumps into the ring somehow, some way. He gets into the ring. He then just pins him 1, 2, 3. Maybe hits him with a crutch or something or a move quick somehow. If he could do a stomp somehow. Does that. Pins him 1, 2, 3. I think that'll be a SummerSlam moment that everyone will remember. Then I would have guessed he probably vacates the title because he can't be the champion if he's hurt. So I could see him maybe vacating the title, but it just feels super unlikely. I just don't think that this would happen. Up next for me is Crown Jewel. Now, there could be like a Clash in Paris. There could be a Raw. I just think Clash in Paris would be too early. I think a Raw would not be as good since he's so injured. I think... Oh my God, I just popped like my stomach. That was weird. I think just a Crown Jewel match to me could really make some sense because I think you'll have both champions in the ring. He could have a first ever cash in where he cashes in after the championship happens. And you could see him become the Raw holder after they just lost with Seth being the new face. Maybe it is Punk. Maybe he just lost to a John Cena or whoever's having the championship. And then we ultimately have Seth Rollins cashing in and beating whoever's the champion. But it just feels too early. That's my only thing with a lot of these is that it just feels early or it's not exact case scenario I would want. I think he should cash in on Punk or Roman. That's the two people that I think makes a ton of sense to cash in on. But those are the two that I keep going back and forth, and I just think this one's a little bit of a stretch. Survivor Series, I can kind of see maybe it's something with War Games where it's a cash in during War Games. I don't really think that would be the scenario in the case that will go, but I think more than likely it's a setup for WrestleMania season. Most likely, I think it's just a regular match. Maybe it's Punk versus Punk versus Gunther. Maybe it's Roman versus Gunther. Maybe it's them going against each other in a match, or just Punk as champion. Maybe he's a championship match against CM Punk versus, I don't know, Rey Mysterio, something crazy. And I think just it'll set up a Rumble winner, and I think it's just about there for how early it can be. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about Survivor Series a lot is because Survivor Series is supposed to be one of the big 4 PLEs, but it doesn't really feel like it. I think this is how I would rank PLEs, probably WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Then I would say Royal Rumble. I would say EC, Money in the Bank, and then I would say Survivor Series. Those are probably how I would rank PLEs. And for Survivor Series, I don't just see them doing in setting up. I just don't see them not having a chance to use the Money in the Bank cash in to make it feel really big. I just think it's a little too early, or there could be better opportunities. Like, for example, you wait a month or you wait even longer and you can have a better opportunity. For example, John Cena's final match. So suppose it's going to be a Saturday night's main event in Boston. That's the supposed where the final match is going to happen. So a lot of scenarios that I could see is John Cena goes out on top or Cody wins the title. And the night ends with Seth Rollins, heist of the century kind of 2.0. And he either defeats a John Cena who just turned babyface maybe, or depending on how SummerSlam goes, or he defeats a Cody Rhodes who was a little bit more evil, probably not, probably more of a babyface, and he defeats him, wins the title, and he thinks he saved wrestling, and then maybe set up a Cody versus Seth at WrestleMania. Maybe it's something else with Seth and Punk. I just feel like this makes sense. Or it's Seth versus Roman. You could give Roman to win the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber, and you have Seth versus him to win back his title. I just feels like it could just be a little bit early. I would say if I could rank places that I think I would want to cash in, it would be SummerSlam because it's so early. It would be so insane. I think then I would rank this. I would rank my next one next, and then I would rank a Survivor Series and then Crown Jewel. That's probably where I would go. But I feel like this makes the most sense. I think you could have something with John Cena's final match where people are watching, they think John Cena's going out on top, and Seth Rollins steals it, and then you have a whole new year full of things that'll be insane. But let's talk about WrestleMania 42, because I don't think this is the most likely. I think honestly it could be John Cena's final match. That could be the most likely. I think, just in my opinion, if he's out, well, I guess if he's out for 9 months, WrestleMania makes the most sense for us to cash in. It just makes the most sense. Now, I think there's a lot of factors that could happen. I think it could be Heist of the Century 2.0. Depending on who's in the match, which I think it could be Punk, Braun, Roman, Cody. If it's in the match, it can set another new year of feel of WWE. For example, this new year of WWE, Seth Rollins' faction, Braun Breaker, it was a crazy storyline of them all together. Could set another new year like that. I think Seth, if Punk is champ, or not, if Punk's champ, then I think you could do a Punk versus Braun Breaker versus Roman versus Cody. If Cody's going after that championship instead, someone wins and then you have them cashed in. Maybe it's Braun Breaker saying, I'm the new leader of this faction. He wins the Royal Rumble. He goes after CM Punk. He wins against CM Punk. And Braun Breaker gets cashed in on. That's a crazy scenario too. Maybe it's Braun versus Roman. I just think that this is the one that happened. It feels a little too late, to be honest with you. I just think waiting all the way till next year WrestleMania is just a little too late, in my opinion, for Seth Rollins to cash in. Because I think he should cash in before. He'll probably be on TV before then. Like, that means I want him to cash in, and that's the first time we see him in so long. Truthfully, I don't want to wait till WrestleMania 42 to see Seth Rollins again. I think he could be on TV before then. But it also just happened 2 years ago where there was a cash in at WrestleMania with the men's side of things, with Seth Rollins technically being around there. So we'll see on that. But I could see this. It kind of feels like the most likely. I think if we go from least likely to most likely, or most likely to least likely, I think John Cena's match. I think SummerSlam. I think then WrestleMania, and then I would go Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber, or not Elimination Chamber, Crown Jewel. And I don't think they'll do it on Raw because it's so close to WrestleMania, or Rumble, because I think they'll wait till WrestleMania, and I don't think they'll do it at Elimination Chamber. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know anything down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.